Welcome back to the channel, boys. Fabulinski's coming at you next with this Radiant Dance Machines build. Now with this build, we're going to utilize the returning exotic from D1, Radiant Dance Machines. Now I've heard some things that these things are really good in PvP, but as you guys know, I don't really do PvP builds, so we're going to be taking them into PvE, and I gotta say, they are crazy. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So for this build, we're going to be using Revenant Hunter, we're using Gambler's Dodge, we have our dust field grenades on, and as for our aspects, we got Winter Shroud, so whenever I dodge, it reads as like a slowing field, it slows nearby enemies. And we're also using Touch of Winter. I actually haven't made a build with this, so this is my first build using Touch of Winter. Since we're using the dust field grenades, we have additional functionality to it. Increases slow field size and creates a small little stasis crystal on impact. So right in the center of the grenade, there'll be a small little stasis crystal, and the slowing field that it creates is much bigger. As for our fragments, we're using Whisper of Bond, so I get additional super energy from defeating frozen targets. We have Whisper of Refraction, so whenever I defeat slowed or frozen targets, I get class ability energy in return. And then we're also using Whisper of Shard, so whenever I do detonate those stasis crystals that the grenade makes, and I'm also using a stasis weapon to destroy those, and I get a nice little recharge rate boost to my grenade. As for my loadout, it's actually really important that you use a stasis weapon. Right now we're using the Wellmaker. I don't even know if I'm saying that correctly. This is the roll I got. We got polygonal rifling, alloy magazine, and we got Encore. Precision final blows grant a stacking range bonus to this weapon. Non-precision final blows remove range stacks and grant bonus to accuracy and stability when all range stacks have been removed. Then we also have Headstone. Now this is the perk that I was looking for, and I got one with this perk. Precision final blows create a stasis crystal at the victim's location. So depending on the size of the target, it can be a big one, small one, whatever it is. When you get a precision kill, creates a little stasis crystal. Blowing up that stasis crystal actually does proc the grenade recharge rate that the fragment gives me. So I keep chaining this together, I can pretty much just have my grenade on a faster cooldown than what it actually is. Right now my discipline stat is at 73, so I'm going to get my grenade back really fast using the stasis weapon. I also have some stasis mods on, or some elemental well mods on. So right now we got Fonts of Wisdom on, and I believe I have Fonts of Might on. So this is going to pair very nicely while using a stasis weapon. Now, as for your special and your heavy, I'm just using an empty vessel auto-loading Vorpal, and we got Cold Dweller auto-loading Frenzy. Now moving on to my stats, we get a flat 100 in mobility, so my dodge is on an 11-second cooldown. Really important for this build because I want to be able to spam my dodge as much as possible. Now we have 51 resilience, 24 recovery, which kind of hurts, but we have a mod that's going to help us make up for this. We have 73 discipline. Again, we have other things that's going to help us increase that. Probably just get it right to 100. I don't know if it even goes higher, but we're going to have pretty much 100 discipline. 31 intellect. We have other ways we're going to make up for this as well, so this is going to be much higher than what it is. And then we have 38 strength. I'm using Gambler's Dodge, so I'm not really too worried about having a low strength stat. Now moving on to my mods, let's start with the helmet. We have some really important mods here. We have Hands On. We got this from the new season of Artifact. Gain bonus super energy on melee kills. I'm using Gambler's Dodge, and I'm going to use my melee lot to get kills, which is going to also allow me to proc the elemental well mods. So using Hands On was a no-brainer. We're also using Dynamo, reduces super cooldown when you use your class ability near targets. This works perfectly with Radiant Dance Machines because I can keep spamming my dodge, which is going to, each time I dodge, going to give me a nice little bit of super energy. And then we also have Fonts of Wisdom, so picking up an elemental well that matches your subclass energy type grants you a temporary significant increase in your intellect, improving the recharge rate of your super. I'm going to be spawning stasis elemental wells, so picking those up is going to give me like plus 50 intellect to my stats, which right now I'm at 31 intellect, so I'm going to have 81 intellect from picking up an elemental well, so I'm going to have my super coming back even faster. Now moving on to my gauntlet, we have Impact Induction. Causing damage with a melee attack reduces your grenade cooldown. I'm going to have a melee a lot from dodging, so I might as well just use it and get some grenade energy in return. And then we also have Well of Life. This came to us last season. Picking up a solar elemental well grants you increased regeneration for a short period of time. It should say health regeneration. Regeneration can just sound kind of confusing, but when you pick up a solar elemental well, you get 10 seconds, and it's like slowly your health just ticks up. So it's not as strong as like standing in a healing rift, or definitely not as strong as standing in a well, but it does tick up very slowly. So it kind of does save you, like if you go behind cover and you have low recovery like I do, this is going to at least give you some health until your health starts regenerating on its own. It's a very nice little safety net. On my chest piece, we only have one really important mod here, Melee Wellmaker. I believe this came to us this season. Powered melee final blows spawn elemental wells matching your subclass energy type. This is huge for any stasis class because it's so hard to spawn stasis elemental wells. Now we have a pretty easy way to do so, especially for the Revenant Hunter, because the shurikens kill a bunch of enemies at once and they're pretty easy to land. I mean, sometimes you miss, but I don't know, I don't find it hard to land them. You get one kill with it, you spawn a stasis elemental well, and your build starts to work. And I also believe, I don't know if it got fixed or not, but the melee for the Revenant Hunter also counted as explosive damage. So I have explosive wellmaker on, which is allowed me to proc solar elemental wells. So getting a stasis kill with the shuriken creates a solar elemental well and a stasis elemental well. Moving on to my leg piece, which is also our exotic piece of choice, Radiant Dance Machines. This comes from the legendary Lost Sectors. I just got it today, right before I made this video really, and the armor perk that comes on it is the Dance. Activating your dodge ability while near targets allows you to dodge additional times for a short period. So pretty much when you're dodging your enemy, you have 5 seconds and you can dodge as many times as you want in those 5 seconds. And I believe, now I don't know if I'm wrong, but when you start dodging, let's say if you dodge like once or twice and you stop dodging, the Dance perk stops. So you have to like continuously dodge if you want to dodge for the whole 5 seconds. But if you just want to dodge like 2 or 3 times to get to cover or something like that, you can do that and then your Dance perk will stop. So it's really useful, pretty versatile, because it also works with things like dynamo. So the more times I'm dodging your enemies, I just keep getting super energy just for dodging. It's a really nice synergy there. Also works with Winter Shroud. So whenever I dodge, I keep releasing that slow field, and eventually I just freeze all the enemies I'm dodging near, and at the same time I'm getting super energy. It's really nice and it synergizes so well. As for my mods on it, I'm using Absolution, so it reduces all ability cooldown each time you pick up an orb of power. And then the main important mod here is Font of Might. Picking up an elemental wall that matches your subclass energy type grants a temporary bonus to weapon damage of that same elemental type. This just got buffed. I don't know if they increase the damage buff you get, but they increased the timer, so now it lasts 10 seconds. Spawning those stasis elemental wells with my melee, picking those up, I get 10 seconds of an increased damage to stasis damage. And I'm using a stasis hand cannon, so this synergizes with that because the stasis hand cannon, at least the roll I have, doesn't have any type of damage perk, so this is going to be like my damage perk, which is going to allow me to kill easier. And moving on to my hunter cloak, we're double stacking bomber mod, so reduces grenade cooldown when using your class ability. Again, this also works with Radiant Dance Machines, so if I use my grenade, proc Radiant Dance Machines, I can just pretty much keep dodging until I get my grenade back, or pretty much all of it back, which is, it's just insane. Radiant Dance Machines are so crazy. We're also using explosive wellmaker. I touched on this a little bit ago. Rapidly defeating combatants with explosive damage spawns a solar elemental well. Now it doesn't say solar explosive, void, whatever, just explosive damage. So the stasis explosion when you destroy a frozen target or a stasis crystal, that counts as explosive damage. Doing that will spawn a solar elemental well. Pick that up, I get well of life proc. I get nice little health regen. It's like very slow, but it's still enough to make it worth it. And I believe well of life only costs 2 mod slots. So it's worth it in my opinion if you don't have high recovery or something like that, or if you're not on a healing class. Go ahead, throw an explosive wellmaker, or just use a solar grenade, something like that. If you're using a solar subclass, pick up those elemental wells and you have well of life. And onto my hunter fashion. Since Radiant Dance Machines right now, I don't know if they're bugged or not, but you cannot change the color of them, which kind of sucks. I wish you could, because that glow would be really cool if you could change the color of them, but it is kind of like defining for it, so I kind of had to go with the green look. Let's go ahead and go down to see the shaders. Here are the shaders I'm using, and here are all the ornaments I'm using. So if you want to pause it, you can take a screenshot and recreate this fashion. This exotic is absolutely insane. I love that there's another way that we can actually spam dodges. Before I just used 6 Coyote, but now I'm going to use Radiant Dance Machines a lot because I just love being able to dodge a lot. This kind of like my hunt, like in my mind, that's what the hunter fancy is being so mobile, dodging everywhere, getting the cover. And now using stasis, you have Winter Shroud. You can pretty much freeze enemies by spamming dodge with the Radiant Dance Machines. Turn around, use your shuriken, blow them up, spawn the elemental wells, pick them up, get your build going, and it just goes from there. This thing has so much synergy, it's insane. Now if you noticed, I'm not using any ammo finders. It's rare that I do this with builds because I think having ammo finders is pretty important, at least just one. But with this build, I'm going to be using my abilities, my super, and my hand cannon a lot to get a lot of kills. So I'm pretty much saving my special and my heavy for my boss killers and using a rocket and a grenade launcher. So I don't want to, use that to clear ads. I don't really need that much ammo, unless of course there's like a lot of chunky enemies, then I guess I'm kind of screwed. But I have my super often, I have my grenade very often, my melee very often. I can dodge and just freeze them by spamming my dodge. this build has other ways to clear ads, and I don't know, I really like this build. I've been struggling to find a hunter build that I really enjoyed. I did like Star Eater scales, and I do like using 6 Coyote, but this just takes it to another level, man. This is so crazy, guys. You guys have to get this exotic. Now, I know that there's some new stasis elemental well mods coming. I don't know how to get them yet. Maybe they're just time gated and we gotta wait until the weekly refresh, something like that. I'm not too sure, but I want to recreate these builds using those stasis elemental wells, because I feel like that would definitely change it up a little bit, maybe make it a little easier, maybe open up some new play styles. I don't know yet, but for right now, these are the mods we're using and it's working just fine. So I'm excited to get those new stasis elemental well mods, because I love stasis, and any type of mods that we're getting that have to do with stasis, perks or anything like that, I want to try, because stasis synergizes so well, which is part of the reason why I'm super excited for the new Void subclass rework that's coming in Witch Queen, because they're gonna get the stasis treatment, like how the subclass is laid out. That's going to happen to the Void subclasses, and I'm super excited, guys. I cannot wait for that, because then the build crafting starts. The Void subclasses are going to be out of control. They're going to be so much fun, man. So I can't wait for all the subclasses to get that treatment, because it's just going to turn Destiny into a whole nother level, man. All the classes in the game, everybody's gonna feel so different, and I just can't wait. I can't wait for it. But there you boys have it, a nice little hunter build with the new exotic Radiant dance machines. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'm having a blast with this exotic. You guys gotta get it. Just go ahead and do one of the Legend Lost sectors right now, or well, when I'm recording this video. The legs were dropping from the 1320 lost sector. Hopefully it stays like that. If maybe it goes to 1350, that might be a little tougher, but if you guys haven't gotten it, go ahead and find a way to get it, because you will not regret it. But if you guys like this content, please like, subscribe, and share. It truly helps me out a lot. You can also check out my other videos. Links are in the description below. I have a lot of crazy builds, so go ahead and check that out. And you might also follow my social media. I have a Twitter and an Instagram, both at fat_Bloonskis. But with all that being said, deuces.